Hey guys,
Here is where I belong now, high above the fear and doubt, so no, nothing could keep me down. Oh.
just in case this does trigger something in you, I want you to know you are loved. It's okay to not watch the rest of this video. I still appreciate you wanting to, and I appreciate your view and your interest, and it is okay. Today I had a therapy session. It revolved around having to learn to forgive myself. I had opened up about how this past week things in my life have triggered me to remember moments where I was not my best self. And most of those moments I forgot even happened. As I've been on the self isolation journey, I have been getting a lot of flashbacks, which I have always believed have been indicators of one, growth, two, it's time to face this, and three, there needs to be some self reflecting happening, and we need to have a certain type of conversation because there's a reason why it's coming now. There's a reason why you're being reminded of these things now. Discussing these things with my therapist felt kind of like a release for me. Like I have been holding these secrets for so long, and saying them out loud kind of allowed me to release some of that heaviness that I have been carrying and had no idea that I've been carrying. When she had mentioned it was time for me to forgive myself and I need to let go of that, I need to just accept the things that have happened and move on from it. And I know that's easier said than done, but I think hearing that started that process because it affected me emotionally and it made me realize that I don't know if I know how. I don't know if I know how to forgive myself because if I have been holding on to these things for so long and there's not really much of a reason to feel the way that I feel about who I have been in the past or mistakes that I have made in the past, I'm not gonna lie. When I was reminded of these memories, I felt awful and I kind of felt disgusted with myself and I felt guilty. I felt like I had been a fraud this whole time. Who have I been pretending to be if this is who I used to be? I don't even know if I'm a good person. I don't know if I've been a good person. How many people, if they were to hear some things that I have done, how many people would look at me differently? Kind of felt like I was losing it a little bit. There have been maybe a couple times where I felt like I didn't deserve forgiveness, and it was because what I did or what I said I felt so terrible about. They also reacted in a very bad way that made me feel even worse. Like I was already kicking myself in the butt, and then your reaction made it even worse. It was just like, oh dang, like I really messed up. You kind of feel like you don't deserve forgiveness, you don't deserve a second chance. You do. We're human. We make mistakes. We act impulsively. We act on desires and not always logic. And a lot of people are selfish and they don't always consider other people's feelings or how it may affect another person. It's a very human thing to do. Yes, there are ways to deal with it better, to make better decisions, but it is a human thing. There are so many other reasons than being human that can dictate the type of decisions that we make. There's monkey see, monkey do. When you grow up in certain environments and around certain types of people, you tend to adopt certain habits, certain ideals, certain values, certain impulses even. Things like that. It just becomes a normal thing to you when sometimes your normal isn't somebody else's normal. If it's normal for you, you're not going to see anything wrong with it until somebody points it out to you. And sometimes it's just a matter of you were young and dumb. If you were a kid or a teenager or even early in your 20s, you are bound to make mistakes. And to hold that type of grudge for yourself or towards yourself is hard. Something that my therapist told me that was important to consider also is having the conversation with ourselves and asking, have I changed? Am I still this person? And if your answer to that question or to those questions are that you have changed and you're no longer that person, then you should absolutely have grace for yourself and forgive yourself. If you have changed, if you have grown since then that's a good sign. You learned from your mistakes and you kept it pushing. You moved on and you became a better person. If you cannot say that you have changed, if you are realizing that you are making the same kind of mistakes or you are doing the same kind of things, spreading the same kind of problems or creating the same kind of problems, then that should lead you to a very deep and internal conversation that you have with yourself about why do you continue to stay in this cycle. One thing my therapist had mentioned was that when you're stuck feeling that guilt, when you're stuck thinking about your past mistakes, there is no growth that happens there. So, what I am doing to start this healing process is working with my therapist on how to cope, how to accept the past, how to make sense of what could have happened. She gave me an exercise to work on, and it's basically to imagine me hanging out with those versions of myself and having those conversations, finding out why I did what I did, what I was feeling at the time, honestly, my environment at the time, the people I was around, or how I grew up. Think about what was going on at the time. Just understand. And after working to understand what she went through and why she did what she did, forgive her. Show her some love and let her know that it's okay and that we've grown since. And I do feel like that is going to be a very heavy and intense experience for me because I've done something like that similar. It was more or less like acknowledging my inner child, and woo, that was very emotional. I absolutely recommend talking to your therapist, especially if you have a good one, because I understand that some therapists are just not aligned with us and our needs. So if you have a really good one and you trust them, please be open and talk to them about it. It is okay. They're not going to judge you. They're going to help you. They are there to help. I also plan on journaling. I want to do a thought dump where I just dump everything that has been going through my head this past week. And if while I'm journaling, I trigger some more memories, I'm going to write it all down. I don't care how crazy it sounds. I'll write all my guilt out, how I feel, what kind of a person I've turned into now, whatever it is. I want it all written down so that it's no longer storing in my brain because it has absolutely been taking up some space in my brain this week and I don't want it there anymore. Journaling is really good for that. There have been some times where I've needed to clear up some space and I'm like, ooh, I feel better. Journaling, I recommend. So that anytime we do have a very heavy session, she always tells me to make sure I do something afterwards that is for me, that is some type of self-care, because when we go into that kind of place, like the dark place, we need something to combat it and we need something to help us kind of pull ourselves out of it. So she always recommends self-care. So one of my recommendations for a form of self-care is to hug yourself. I know it sounds silly. I know, but we need to do that more often. We really do. I do feel like we're all a little touch deprived. Why should it be silly to hug ourselves? I know you hear the cracks. Don't worry about it. That's my age. It should not be weird or silly. This is some intense work. Healing is not easy. So anybody who tries to say it is, either you got some magical powers or you're not doing it right. Those are the only two options. It's not fun, it's draining, it's heavy, and it sucks. But it's worth it in the end. This is something that I have been doing as a form of self-care. I will find something that makes me feel good, makes me laugh, makes me smile, makes me feel giddy. And I also like to enjoy a cup of hot cocoa. Or a sweet treat, or both. Like I said in the beginning of this video, we are all humans. We have impulses, we have emotions, we have thoughts, we have trauma. That's usually what we act on. Give yourself a little grace. I feel like we're our own worst critics. And it's not even like, do better. It's like, F you, you're terrible, you're an awful person. I mean, I've talked to myself like that. I don't know about y'all, maybe y'all are nicer, but I'm not. Don't be too hard on yourself. You don't deserve that. You really don't. Nothing's worth that. Taking the time to get to know ourselves is going to help us make better decisions in the future. So you have the opportunity now to take the time to get to know yourself, to get to know who you used to be, and see how far you've come. And even if you haven't come too far or you're still making the same, mistakes, this gives you the time to learn from those. You're taking the initiative to really dig deep and understand who you are and where your decisions come from so that you can change it up. Self-discovery is really important. I don't know why not enough people are doing it. I'm fully aware that this may have triggered some of you guys, but I am hoping that instead of seeing this as an attack, which some people do, I'm hoping that you see this as an opportunity to grow, as an opportunity to become a better you, to learn about yourself. Your relationship with yourself is the most important. It should be the most important to you. You are stuck with you forever. If this triggered you in any way, it's time to learn yourself. That's what this channel is for, honestly. As much as I am on this healing journey, on this personal transformation journey myself, I am hoping that the more I talk about all the things I am learning and all the things I am discovering whilst I'm on this journey, I'm hoping that it may inspire all of you. I'm hoping that it may help you navigate yours, or it may, you know, I'm not here to trigger you, but I hope that from this channel you do get something out of it. I want this channel to be the type of channel where we can all support each other, we can all be there for each other, we can all help each other along the way. With me sharing the exercise that I will be doing tonight along with the journaling, if you decide to do that too, can you please put it in the comments and let me know how you felt after that? I am proud of you, I love you, and I am here for you. Until next time, stay beautiful and stay kind.